My biological dad wanted to sell me and my brother to a local drug dealer for child trafficking. They barely could afford the 3 children they were taking care of at the time. I got called to the principal's office. That was weird for me because I never get called to the principal's office. At the time, she didn't tell me why we were getting pulled out. My biological mom's picture everywhere on TV. I saw my oldest sister, Caitlin, on TV, and I found out that my biological dad had murdered my biological mom and then kidnapped my oldest sister, Caitlin.
First, I want to welcome you, Jason. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you. It's great being here.
I'm going to share the story of how we met and why I invited you to be on the show. But first, I want to say this. It's really important to me that we set an intention for this conversation because your story is truly shocking in many ways. And I don't want it to be about shock. I want it to be about learning and inspiration. My intention is to recognize that you can be presented with almost impossible odds and still overcome them, that you can still build a life no matter how difficult. And I want to frame the conversation around that. So let's start with how we met.
Yeah, so...
do you want me to share the story or do you want to
share? You can share the story.
I just loved it because you were on a panel in front of the room and there were a bunch of students up there sharing why they chose this particular school. This is Loyola University in Maryland. And I was there as a board member. And I listened to you talk about, where you were at this point in your life. And I felt like you were kind of othering yourself from the other students, thinking that, and in fact, rightfully thinking that your journey had been harder than some of their experiences. And you were right. It has been. But I was so excited because you came back for lunch and I wanted you to hear my story because I had my own challenges, and I wanted you to know that you're not alone. That a lot of people, in fact, a lot of successful people have had very difficult journeys. And I think in some ways, those challenges prepare us for success. We always talk about how difficult they are, and they are. I don't want to take anything away from that. I mean, they can take you down. But if you get through it to the other side, if you turn that struggle into a strength, you can go on to have a very productive, happy, and successful life. And then two other very successful people who were on the board also shared their stories of overcoming challenges. And I just, I saw a different you in that conversation because it struck me that maybe you thought, wow, okay, maybe I'm not the only one who's had to deal with something like this. So let's go back to the beginning, the early years. So you were born in Baltimore City. Your parents were not married to each other, but they were partners. They each brought a child to the relationship. And they had a set of twins, 2 girls. And then they had a set of boys, another set of twins. They had a second set of twins, 2 boys. That was you and your brother.
Yeah. Well, at the time, they barely could afford the 3 children they were taking care of at the time. My oldest brother, who came from my mom's side of the family, and then my 2 twin sisters. So once they realized they got another set of twins, they didn't think they were able to financially, they didn't think they were able to take care of us financially. So
that's 6 kids? Is that 6 total?
Yeah, my dad's side has a daughter, and then my mom's side has a son.
Do you feel comfortable sharing why you and your brother were taken away from your parents right after you were born?
Yeah, I actually learned this recently from my grandfather that my biological dad wanted to sell me and my brother to a local drug dealer for child trafficking. And my dad, he's my grandfather biologically, but later I'll explain that he adopted me, so he's my dad. So I'll be referring to him as my dad.
Yeah, I love that. So your grandfather was in his 60s when you were born, and your father tried to sell you and your brother for money into
and he
human
wouldn't
trafficking.
let that happen.
I mean, I don't even know how to process that, to be honest with you. I think about the challenges I've confronted in life and in my family specifically, and I can't even comprehend what it is like to have that information.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I can't even believe it sometimes when I say it and tell other people. And, when I found out, it was shocking because I originally just thought that they'd just I was always told when I was younger that they couldn't take care of me, but I never knew why.
Wow. So your grandfather, who at the time was in his 60s, became your dad. So he's your adoptive dad. He formally adopted you and your brother.
Yes, him and my biological grandmother.
Married.
Yeah, they had been together for over 20 years.
Got it. And they adopted you and your brother.
Yes.
And the twin sisters stayed with your
they stayed with my
bio
biological
mom
parents.
and dad. Got it.
Yes.
I mean, the idea that a 60-something-year-old grandfather would adopt 2 infant boys, I mean, is almost extra. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah, and he was actually in better health than my mom at the time because she before they adopted me, she had over 30 surgeries done to her. Like she had like knee replacements, the whole 9 yards, all the any surgery you could think of, she's had it.
Did they have any issues with drugs or alcohol?
Both my biological dad and my grandfather were alcoholics at some point in their life.
Wow. So your grandfather, we know that your grandfather, well into his 60s, set in his ways. You know, he certainly made some mistakes like we all do in life. But what he did was he selflessly decided to step in and provide a home for you guys, which is extraordinary. And you grew up on the same block, is what I heard?
Yep, I grew up on the same street as both my biological family and then my adopted family.
So you're living on the street with your grandfather, who's now your dad. He's officially your dad, and he's adopted you. And across the street is your bio mom and your bio dad with the other children.
Yes, exactly.
And you guys all played together.
We all played together like we were cousins or best friends. Like we played tag outside. We go to the park together. And I would call my biological parents by their first name, but I'd add daddy and mommy before then. So I'd be like,
got it.
Yeah, so I'd say daddy Tim.
Right.
Or mommy Bobby. And eventually we got out of that once we got older. But yeah, like we were aware that they were our parents.
Biological parents.
Yeah. My grandparents were very straightforward about that my entire life.
So you knew that, and you grew up with your siblings, even though you were raised by your grandfather. Wow. So, you know, when I first heard this story, which I just think is extraordinary and, you know, demonstrates incredible resilience, I thought about, you know, I know this therapist, I've known her for many years, and she has this saying, the first rule of parenting is don't eat the children, right? And I kind of like, the first time she said it, I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I got it. It was like, the first rule of parenting is to parent. And honestly, I feel emotional just saying it out loud because your parents didn't do that for you, your biological parents. Yeah.
I mean, my grandparents were always loving when I was a child. So I always thought of myself as being lucky because...
I love that.
Yeah, I was actually... I mean, I got the best parts about having siblings still. Like, I still grew up with my siblings, still got to play with them. We played video games, Barbies, whole 9 yards.
So you thought of... For you, it was fun. I always say that children don't know what they don't know. Like,
exactly.
Where the environment you grow up in, you think is great.
Yeah, honestly.
Why would you think of it as not anything other than great? Because that's all you know.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have anything to compare it to. And, you know, later in my life, I was actually even more grateful that I lived with my parents, my grandparents.
Your grandparents. Your adoptive grandfather.
The family tree's confusing.
I know. I'm trying to keep it straight, but I actually love it. I love that you got to have that family connection in those early years because those early years are so formative and important. And it does seem like having those relationships and that connection probably was helpful.
No, definitely. Yeah. And I maintain the relationships with my siblings to this day because of it. So I'm grateful for that.
But they broke the most sacred bond, which is to take care of the children first.
Yeah, and they weren't even taking care of my siblings. I mean, my biological dad was a convicted child molester.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we move into the changes that you experienced when you were 10, because I did look it up on the internet, and I did get some background on it and was really surprised. But as you think about those early years, what was the most important lesson in those early... The first thing that stands out for me is the importance of having family, no matter how you define it. I mean, We've talked about how complicated your family tree was, but it still was important to have those relationships. Yeah,
I think the biggest lesson I got from that, it's very cliche, but your family isn't blood. Your family's who you make it. And, you know, I was happy. I was grateful for what I had. I didn't, you know, at the time I didn't know I I was missing out on anything, or I had I had parents who loved me, and that's all I needed. They didn't have to be blood, but it's motivated me to ask for help now, even in like my college years. So even
Love
I
that.
consider you a part of my family. And
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you.
and like the assistant dean of the undergraduates at Loyola, Mary Beth Mudrick, she's as close to a mom I've had since my mom passed away.
Well, I know that school is wrapping its arms around you, and I am so grateful to be part of the team to do that. So, because I think your story is extraordinary, and more importantly, your spirit is extraordinary.
Thank you.
Really, truly. But we could talk all day about those early years, honestly, because that's one shocking part of your story. But it actually does take a turn when you were 10. For me, when I was 10, we moved from Baltimore City. I actually grew up not far from where you were, coincidentally. And we moved in with my grandmother, and it was like life-altering. And I'm like, why are you taking me out of this environment that I'm perfectly happy in, not understanding that they were trying to put us in a better place? But for you, it was a much more significant life-altering experience. Do you want to share what happened when you were 10?
Yeah, I'll start it off. I remember I was in 4th grade. I was in my social studies classroom, and I got called to the principal's office. That was weird for me because I never get called to the principal's office, so I was a little bit nervous. And it was my mom, my grandmother, pulling me out of school. At the time, she didn't tell me why we were getting pulled out. The principal handed her a $100 bill and said, "Go take your boys out to lunch." And I remember we ate at Captain James right off of Boston Street.
Oh, that restaurant that's shaped like a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice experience until I got home and the news was on and everything. I saw my biological mom's picture everywhere on TV. I saw my oldest sister, Caitlin, on TV. And I found out that my biological dad had murdered my biological mom and then kidnapped my oldest sister, Caitlin, and took her out of state. So
Right now, Timothy Virts is in the Baltimore County Jail tonight with no chance at bail. He waived his right to a bail review hearing today as new documents were released in his case.
ABC2 investigator Josie Sturman is here now to detail the new documents that tell us much more about the hours leading up to that Amber Alert. Josie?
Charging documents show Timothy Virts and Bobby Joe Cortez were scheduled for a custody hearing on the day of her murder, a hearing where Timothy Virts could have lost visitation with his twin girls. Now, one of those girls, 11-year-old Caitlin Virts, was taken by her father, prompting that Amber Alert. But in the hours before she went missing, charging documents say Virts was seen sleeping on the couch of the home he then shared with Bobby Joe Cortez and the girls, as well as other adults. Those records say he laughed at his other daughter, Kayla, when she asked him if Bobby Joe could tuck her in for bed on the night of March 5th. In the morning, police say Kayla wanted to see her mom, but the door to her bedroom in the basement was locked. So Kayla used a butter knife to get in and found Bobby Joe stabbed to death on her bed. Now, older custody records we obtained show Bobby Joe Cortez had sole custody of those twins, with Virts getting visitation every other weekend. Those records also indicate the courts consider the couple, quote, fit and proper parents. Josie Sturman, ABC 2 News.
he's a convicted child molester.
Child molester.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be
Around children.
He wasn't supposed to be around my sisters at all. But my biological mom didn't follow her own rules. And
Why is it that we do? Someday we're going to have to understand why that happened. So your biological mom stayed with your biological dad, even though he had been a convicted child molester.
yeah,
And when you were 10, he murdered your mother and took one of the girls out of state.
yeah, who at the time was 12.
Oh, she was 12.
She was 12.
She was 12.
Yeah, she was 12. And it was I don't remember how long the search was, but during that process, I think CBS, is one of the news places, came to our house and asked to interview all of us.
Oh my goodness.
There's actually a YouTube video. I haven't been able to find it, but I remember seeing it. My dad, my grandfather is on there asking my biological dad to please bring Caitlin home and that he wouldn't get the cops involved. He's like, he just wants Caitlin to be safe. Me and my brother were too nervous to interview, but we have pictures.
You were 10.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We didn't know what was going on.
Did you even know what an Amber Alert was at that time?
No, we didn't. I didn't know how serious everything was until, you know, later in my life.
When he was arrested, or
I think like once I, you know, got older. I think at 10, I didn't even know, like, I didn't understand the concept of murdering, like how serious that was. And
did you knew then though that he had murdered
Yeah.
your mother, your
Yeah.
biological mother?
yeah, my grandparents have always been straightforward with me, and so I'm glad that they did tell me at the time.
It sounds like your grandfather, who was your dad who raised you, really tried pretty hard. I mean, he was limited by his own circumstances, but he was trying really hard to do his best.
Yeah, money was always tight, but no matter what, we always had food. He had a job for most of the time that I've known him.
What did he do?
So he was in the military for a couple years when he was younger.
Did that make him a strict dad?
I think he was strict when he had his like actual like kids, his biological kids, but I think I got him after he's been nice.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
their grandfather years raising young
Exactly.
children, so lots of ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I got it. Wow, that's incredible. Like, I can't even comprehend what it's like to go through that experience of seeing your family's drama all over the news stations. I mean, you can't escape it. It's in every local
Yeah.
newspaper. It's on every local news station. Did people at school know about it when you went back to school?
Most of the kids didn't because they were like me. They weren't
They were
going and watching
10.
the news for fun. Yeah. But like I remember my principal would check in on me every once in a while. The teachers were nothing but nice. So I remember I would, if I didn't want to go to recess, I'd stay in my, I'd want this one teacher, she was my English professor, and her name was Miss Foley. And she actually comes back later in the story.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'd take my Pokemon cards up there with her, and we'd just
I
look
love
at them
that.
together.
So you did understand enough to be able to try to process it.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong, and I mean, my family felt a little broken after that because, you know,
They were.
Yeah,
Your bio dad went to jail, back to jail.
yeah, he went back to jail. Yeah, so he was found because a person, it was one of the Carolinas, I forget. But he was found at a motel, and one of the receptionists recognized him from the Amber Alert and called the police. And the police came, and he didn't put up a fight or anything.
Oh
but
my
he
goodness!
was
And he
arrested.
had your biological sister with him.
Yeah.
And she came back
Yeah, she came
relatively
back.
unharmed. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
clearly traumatized.
Yeah, emotionally traumatized, but
Yeah.
physically she was fine.
Got it. Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, I don't even know how to process that. So I can't even imagine it at 10.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think I'm actually grateful for being 10 at the time almost.
Okay, yeah,
I feel
I
like
get
if
that.
I would have been 14 and the same thing happened, I think it would have messed me up.
This is the thing that we're hardwired to be connected to our family. Like, we
Yeah.
want that relationship, we want that connection. And I don't think that ever goes away.
Yeah.
And it's hard to reconcile that desire for being connected to our biological family and knowing that, you know, maybe some of those people did things that we just don't agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really hard to process.
And my biological dad did a lot that I wasn't
Right.
not proud of. So, I mean, yeah, he was arrested for things other than child molesting. So, yeah, he was into drugs and alcohol. He's very violent.
So how do you, because this is really the lesson for this part of your life, how do you separate that person who brought you into this world from who you want to be in the world? Like, how do you figure out how to live a different life for yourself? Because everything says that, you know, we follow the example that we see. And so for you, you had to choose a different path than what you had been exposed to.
Honestly, it's been my motivation for making those differences. Like, I want to break the generational challenges. I know that alcoholism runs in my family, so I'm going to be more mindful of that. So I feel like it almost gave me like, let me think for a second. I feel like it almost gave me like a step ahead of a lot of other people because I was aware of what not to do at such a early age. Like, I knew what I didn't want to be.
You had to think about it sooner than most people
Exactly.
do. So a lot of people, they go through college, they move out into the world, and then they have to think about, like, who do I want to be? Like, how do I want to, like, live my life in this world? Who do I want to be in the world?
Yeah.
And for you had to make that decision at a much earlier age.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get that. So I guess what's the lesson for that portion of your life? For me, it's It's really about understanding that it's not just that family is who you decide it will be. It's also about who you decide you want to be in the world.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I actually take this lesson from Stuart Little. His dad told him that there's a silver lining to every situation.
Who's Stuart Little?
You never seen Stuart Little?
No.
It's a movie from like my childhood.
Okay, the producers are like shaking their head like, what? How does she not know that?
But he said there was a silver lining to everything. And, that's so true.
Oh, I love that.
It's so true. Like, what's happened is terrible, but I mean, I wouldn't have been as successful as I feel I am without experiencing that.
So let's talk about your success, because when we talk about resilience, when we talk about people who made it out, when we talk about betting on yourself, like that is you. I have to just say it, and then you can tell us how you got there. You were valedictorian of your high school class?
Yeah, I was valedictorian of Crystal Ray Jesuit High School.
I just want to cry saying that out loud.
It was surprising, too. I didn't expect it, but I feel like I earned it.
You must feel extraordinarily proud of that accomplishment, though.
I am. And I honestly, I think I did it for my grandmother.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
the woman who raised you.
Yeah, because she passed away in 2018, and after that, my mission, her one goal was to see me graduate high school. That was what she wanted to do, but I needed to make sure that she could see even if she wasn't here physically. Yeah. And I never missed a single day of high school. I had perfect attendance.
Ever?
Yeah, even the day after my mom died. I remember my professor, Miss Delaney, she didn't put out my workbook that day at my seat, and she was like, Jason, I'm surprised to see you here today.
Wow.
And I was like, if my mom was here, she would have wanted me to be there.
That's amazing. So you obviously were a good student.
Yeah, I mean,
how did you know how to do that? How did you know? Like, I could never, I couldn't count on one hand. I couldn't name a single time that my parents ever asked me if I did my homework.
Wow.
Like, not ever. They just did, they weren't engaged in that way. They just weren't the kind of parents who were involved in our lives. If I didn't get up and go to school on my own, I didn't go.
Yeah.
From the earliest ages, from the youngest grades.
That's hard.
Much less ever doing homework. So how did you know how to do that and figure that out? Did your adoptive parents, your mom and dad, walk you through that and stay engaged in your journey through education?
It's definitely...
Were they committed to education? Was that important to them?
It's actually funny. My dad is like the opposite. He actually discouraged me from getting good grades. And
what?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That cannot be. Come on.
So
why? Why would he do that?
So after he retired when he turned, I think 67, 68. We never got. Yeah, he worked at a grocery store after the military. He worked in a shipyard.
And you worked in a grocery store in high school too.
I worked at the same grocery store as him. He got me the job and then retired.
Wow.
Basically. And he got into conspiracy theories during his retirement.
Wow.
And
he was much older then.
Yeah, and he's Facebook all day. That's all he ever did. So he didn't believe grades were real, and he actually told me and my brother not to do our homework. But
how did you do that? How did you get through that and
it was
make
my mom.
Your own choice? And they were together at the time.
They were together. They always argued about everything.
In the same house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Completely different beliefs in every regard.
So you took the parts that resonated for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you focused on that, and you let go of the parts that didn't resonate for you.
Yeah. And my mom's always been more involved with education. Like, she was at all the assemblies, even if he wasn't there.
Wow.
Because he worked nights usually, so he'd be sleeping during the days. So most of my childhood I was raised by my mom.
Wow. But so his job was in a grocery store.
Yeah,
you ended up working overnight in a grocery store?
Yeah, he worked overnight.
Is that a thing? I didn't know that.
Night Stalkers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, stock shelves at the Gap, but that was during normal hours.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. So in grocery stores, people are there overnight stocking the shelves.
I worked overnight when I worked at a grocery store.
And then got up and went to school in the morning.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started working?
As soon as I turned 6. Oh, I started working at 14.
Creatively working?
With YouthWorks through Baltimore.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so I worked with Whiting Turner for 3 months over the summer between my... actually, I was 15.
15 when you first started.
I was 15. It was the summer.
I'm fine with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so glad I worked when I was 15 and 16.
Yeah. I feel like you get a lot of experience, and you learn a lot.
It's really hard to get a job today, though,
Yeah.
if you're under 18.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stores want to hire 18 and above, but I thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
But I don't
wouldn't change a
wish
thing.
working overnight on a high school student.
That was rare though. Most of the time I did work like nights. I'd work like the 4 to 9 shift or 4 to 8.
Now, Cristo Rey, where you were the valedictorian, isn't that a predominantly Hispanic school?
It's predominantly black. Yeah.
Cristo, so it's in Baltimore City.
Yeah. It's in Baltimore City.
Is it a magnet school, or how did you end up there?
It's a private school for low-income students from Baltimore. Like you had to be from Baltimore. You had to be under a certain income level. So my
And
family
a good
met that.
student. And a good student.
Yeah, and obviously your middle school grades mattered. So yeah, I thought it was selective at the time. So
I think it is
Yeah.
selective. So how did you get there? Was that your idea or your mom's idea?
they actually came to my middle school and advertised their high school, like come to our high school. And at the time, I was going to go to City College High School.
Which is a Baltimore City public school.
Yeah. So I was going to go there, but my parents were diagnosed with cancer both of them in 2014. So at the time, they wanted us to be close to home, and Cristo Rey was walking distance from our house, and it was a place where me and my brother could go since his grades were on the opposite spectrum of mine.
Oh.
So he couldn't get into City.
Really?
Yeah, because City's very selective. City and Poly.
So they're both magnet schools.
Yeah.
Got it. So he went to Cristo Rey too.
So he went to Cristo Rey too.
Did he vote for you for valedictorian? I'm just wondering.
You don't vote for that.
Oh, you don't vote for
No,
it?
it's just your highest GPA.
I'm a high school dropout, let's be honest. So I only finished 11th grade. Although I did get an MBA without finishing high school or college,
Impressive.
but I didn't go through that valedictorian experience. I actually didn't even understand it until recently. So
It's just highest GPA.
it's really cool. So is it primarily GPA, or are there other considerations?
I'm not sure the criteria. I'm sure it's different like by school, but I mean, as far as I knew, it was GPA.
The fact that you had that honor means they really believed in you.
Yeah, I feel like I was loved at the school.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
One time,
Honestly, Jason, you make me want to cry over and over again. The more you talk, it's extraordinary. You felt loved there, just like you do at Loyola.
and actually from the teacher, Miss Delaney, that didn't put that workbook out for me. She saw I wasn't doing well one day, like just from me not making a dry joke to her. And she actually came to Safeway because she knew I had a shift after, and she came to Safeway and checked in on me.
Wow. So obviously the lesson in this part of your life is teachers make a difference.
Teachers make a difference.
They
yeah.
changed your life.
Yeah, and honestly, I was in a bad space when on that day where she checked in on me. So who knows what would have happened if I didn't get that check-in, if I didn't get that hug in the grocery store.
She's going to be so proud of you when she sees this.
Yeah, she's the best. She's
That's
the best.
really awesome. See, I was going to say you had to be the hero in your own life, but the truth is there were other heroes
Oh yeah, I honestly
as well.
have a belief that you almost it's impossible to be a hero in your own life by yourself. I feel like you need all your sidekicks.
It's nice if you
Yeah.
have that. I don't know if I always felt like I had that, truthfully. I mean, there were times when I felt like I was very much on my own.
Yeah.
And my journey was a little bit different, but everyone always says, look, you can't do it on your own. And that's true. There are people who had an impact in my life, but I do feel like ultimately I had to make it happen
Yeah.
because my family didn't value education. I didn't have any mentors along the way. And I kind of had to figure things out. And then I was traumatized at a very early age. I was homeless and I just didn't know where to go or where to turn. And so it was hard to find those people. And you've really inspired me by sharing these stories of these really important teachers who cared enough to make sure you were okay. I mean, that honestly is life-changing.
And I mean, it's not even like a unique case. I had my other teacher I mentioned I used to go for recess. Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name.
You're going to make me cry again, aren't you?
I have another teacher that the one I used to go to for recess, and her name was Miss Foley, and she we actually oh my God, I'm stuttering.
Should we ever question whether teachers make a difference in people's lives? It's extraordinary. I mean, you are literally a walking example of how teachers can change lives.
I think so. Yeah, and I mean, she saved me from having to go to a funeral I didn't want to go to. My mom's funeral was like a couple weeks after her death, and Miss Foley offered to take me and my brother out to dinner since we didn't want to go.
You didn't want to
to
go.
the funeral, no. So she was like, we can celebrate in a different way. So she took us out,
That's
bought us
amazing.
anything we wanted, and it really, like, I felt loved.
I love her. I hope I get to go meet her. Do you stay in touch with her still?
I stay in touch on Facebook. I know I think she works for UMD or Johns Hopkins.
I'm going to look her up. Miss Foley.
Miss Foley.
I'm writing that one down. Miss Foley. She's amazing. Shout out to Miss Foley.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Foley.
She's awesome. That's great. Is there anything else you would say that sort of was like a lesson that you learned in that part of your journey getting through high school?
I think I also learned a lot about the importance of friendship. I mean, I had my best friend at the time. We had been best friends since 3rd grade. We went to the same middle school, coincidentally went to the same high school. We walked to school every day together. And I mean, we never like talked about like the serious stuff, but honestly,
Is that because you were young or because you're boys?
I think a little bit of both, but mainly boys, because I still don't talk about serious stuff with my guy friends.
I get it.
But like honestly, just coming to school and being able to laugh because of him and a lot of my other friends it made it doable. It made me be able to, it gave me the strength to be able to get through high school and get those good grades and go to work. I mean, it was a lot.
That's incredible. So friendship, in addition to the teachers, made a big difference.
Yeah.
You're like literally building a network around you. Extended family, choosing your own path, having friends, having teachers. You're making it, it's the community. The whole community is coming together for you, and that's what's making it possible for you to have a different experience.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, you also have to tap into it. It's not just that those people were there, right?
Oh, no, yeah. I
It's
give
not
myself
just
credit.
that. You have to be willing to accept their help. You have to be willing to ask for help. You have to be willing to let them in.
And I honestly think that's a lot of times that's the difference between someone who makes it out and doesn't. In a lot of cases, it's the willingness to ask for help and let other people, do the things they do for you. Because I've always been very independent up until college. I'm starting to open up a little bit more. And yeah,
Well,
it's
you've
made a big
opened up a
difference.
lot just in the time that I've known you. But I do think that it's letting people in, but it's also, it's really important on this journey to like be open to what happens along the way. There are changes where, as you get a little more comfortable with it, then you become a little more willing to ask. It's not easy to do that. I mean, when you've been so insulated, especially in those early years, I give you a lot of credit for doing it.
And my dad always told me not to ask for help.
Oh my
So,
gosh, I was raised with that too.
Yeah,
Never
it's-
ask for help. Is that their generation? What was
It is.
that?
It's the toxic masculinity of that generation.
I had a toxic masculine mother then because it was like you could never ask for help. Never ask for help. And you didn't want anyone to know your business.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yours was on the news. It's not like they didn't know it. It was on the news.
But it wasn't enough to be sad about, according to my dad.
He said not to be sad.
Yeah, he said not to be sad. My brother was having like really bad anger issues after my grandmother passed away. So
In 2018.
2018, and the school actually sent CPS to our house because they thought one of us was gonna like harm someone else in the school, like shoot up the school.
Oh my goodness.
And my dad was like so upset that my brother, quote unquote, calls that.
Wow.
And he said, why are you even sad? Your life is fine. You have food on the table.
That's a different generation.
It is. Because, I mean, I understand where he's coming from because he grew up, had to fight for everything he had.
Mm-hmm.
But, the world's different now.
Right. How's your brother today?
He's still working at the grocery store that me and him worked at when we were 16. He's actually a night stalker.
Oh,
So he works overnights now. He was a bakery manager for a while.
there you go.
But he just started to not enjoy it anymore. So.
Honest work is good work. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and school was never his thing. I mean, he's always wanted to get into
And
like...
that's fine. Like, why do we have, like, not everyone has to go the same path.
Exactly. And I would rather him do that than waste a lot of money trying to go to college and be in debt.
And he can also change that path when he wants
Exactly.
to, when he's ready to. So the most amazing part of the whole thing, I mean, the story in and of itself on, getting through that and choosing to think differently about the relationships in your life. I mean, it gets to the core of why some people make it out and other people do not. And I focus on this a lot. Look, I have a brother who's homeless right now. And I've lived this extraordinary life. I built a tech company. I held public office. I have other brothers who have done well. I mean, some do well and some do not. And I get asked all the time, why did you make it out when others don't? And I've always struggled to answer that question, but I think you've put some of the pieces together today, which is really accepting help, being willing to ask for help. And
Yeah.
I think that's about initiative. If you're willing to take initiative, I think you can be successful. Are you saying that this happened to me? Or are you saying, okay, this happened, but I'm going to keep going?
Exactly. You got to figure out what you're going to do with it and make yourself better because of it.
That's right.
And a lot of people, whether it's laziness or, they just let the grief overwhelm them. A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I call it lazy or not. That's interesting because, some people just aren't willing to work.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're lazy or they don't think they have to work? Is it entitlement? Is it laziness? Are they the same thing? I don't know. I always struggle with that. I feel a responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm never not going to be responsible for myself.
No, and I'm the same way, which is why I couldn't fathom that people haven't had jobs and they're in college. So to me, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's dependent on the case. Like some of it's entitlement. Like a lot of people grow up not needing to have a job, so they don't ever get one. Like why would I go out of my way to do something that's not?
My kids can tell you I'm super mean. I was like, when are you getting a job? My daughter was trying to get a job at 14 and couldn't get anybody to hire her. So I think it's meaningful to do those things early in life.
It definitely is, yeah.
But, everyone has their own journey.
Exactly.
So you go on to get a college scholarship because you had done so well in high school. How did you end up at Loyola University in Maryland?
So I actually wanted to go outside of Maryland. So I applied
Little change of scenery from all of this, that
I
you've
wanted
been
to escape
through.
it all.
Yeah, I understand. Although wherever you go, there you are.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, you don't really ever escape
You're
it.
not really gone.
Yeah.
You're still there.
But I applied to a lot of different schools, many in PA, but none gave me as much money as Loyola, and the money was the most important thing to me because I wasn't going to college if I couldn't get enough scholarship.
I get that.
So Loyola gave me enough to where I wouldn't have to pay anything in my freshman year. And
Freshman year, all 4 years. How is that?
So it's only my
Why is it different in subsequent years?
tuition rises, scholarships don't.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that.
So every semester I've had to pay a little bit more, and now I'm probably paying $2,000 a semester out of pocket.
So what do you do? Do you work for that, or do you take out a student loan?
I've yet to take out any loans, so I work.
You have no loans
I have no
whatsoever.
loans.
Oh my goodness.
I was close last semester.
Wow.
But I've never not worked since I was 15. So I've always had a job.
And you have savings, and you're constantly saving.
Yeah, I'm constantly trying to save. Sometimes it's harder. With the college tuition, $2,000 is a lot when I'm only working.
It adds up. It's a lot.
Part-time during the year. Yeah.
I agree. One of the things that I learned about you that really stood out for me and it got my attention is that you live on campus year-round.
Yeah.
And on one hand, that made me really sad because I was like, wow, everyone wants to go home to their family on the holidays. And on the other hand, I felt so inspired by that the school is trying to support you. I really do think that, the schools today are taking on a more expansive role in being supportive of students and the struggles that they deal with. And so I really love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for it. I honestly don't know what I would do, where I would have went for the winter breaks or spring breaks or summer breaks if it wasn't for the school. I'm glad that I can, as long as I work for the school, I can live there for free, which is amazing.
Wow. Are you the only student who lives there full-time year-round?
There's some students, one of my roommates, he goes home once every other year because he lives in Puerto Rico. So he's kind of he's almost there as much as me, but I think I'm one of I'm definitely not the only one, but I'm definitely a unique situation.
Do you think you'll stay in the area after college, or are you going to be ready for a new adventure?
I think for the sake of my siblings, I want to stay in the area, at least in the Maryland area, because it's already hard enough for us to see each other with our busy schedules. And since 2 of my siblings live in Maryland, I kind of want to be connected to them.
So you're still in touch with them. You still stay in touch, and you're
Yeah,
close.
we're very close. My oldest sister's in the military now in Colorado, and her twin sister is living right in Dundalk.
Wow. So I was going to ask you what your life is like now, and it sounds like you still have this network of family.
Yeah, it's gotten less over the years in terms of blood relatives, but me and my siblings, we try to stay connected.
You're one of those people who made it out.
Yeah. I'm still making it out.
You're still making it. Yeah, you're
still trying.
You're still on this journey, let's be clear. So, which I do want to spend a couple minutes talking about. I want to ask you a question that's kind of personal. After everything you've been through, all the trauma, all the challenging situations, Do you feel like you deserve to be happy? Do you think you have a right to be happy?
I have the belief that everyone has the right to be happy, whether or not, you've done bad things or, whatever the case is.
Or other people have done bad things to you.
Or, yeah, I wouldn't wish sadness on my biological dad. I would still wish him happiness. So, and I think I'm a decent person. So, and I've tried my hardest to do everything that's considered conventionally right to, lead to a good job. And I'm hoping that, it does lead to happiness. I think I deserve it. Actually, to be a little vulnerable, last semester I was in a psych ward for a week. And I think that admitting myself into that is in itself, it illustrates that I deserve happiness because I cared enough about my safety and health, mental health, that I was able to do that.
Honestly, you're so strong.
Thank you.
So strong. So you knew that you weren't okay, and so you went and asked for help.
Exactly. Yeah.
And was it helpful?
It was helpful. I'm still on that mental health journey now.
That's why I asked if you feel like you have a right to be happy. Do you have a right to happiness? I struggled with it sometimes because while I'm a happy person at my core, and I think you have to be optimistic to be resilient, there are times when, it was just really hard, and it was hard to get to that place where I felt like I deserved happiness. So I like that you're feeling that already and asking for help already. I wasn't strong enough to do that at your age.
And it's hard. It is really hard.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I think the lesson from that period of time, you're still on the journey of college, but from the transition to high school into college and building a life for yourself is to invest in yourself and believe in yourself. You have chosen to make education part of your journey and to create that foundation for your future. And that means that you understand the importance of taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And honestly, another big lesson from that is,
No, go ahead.
Lost
You're
my train
fine.
of thought.
You're fine. You're fine. You're investing in yourself. I'm writing that one down. I love
investing
that.
in myself. Yeah.
I'm big on investing in yourself. I really do think that people talk about it all the time, and they talk about it in such abstract terms. Like you're actually doing it. For me, it was paying for my own education.
Yeah.
When I finally got the MBA, I had no help with that. Zero financial aid. And I still did it, and I paid my mortgage on a credit card because I was investing in myself. And you're doing that at 20, and you just turned 21. Yeah. That's extraordinary, and that's like walking the walk. Everyone talks about investing in themselves, but they haven't had to do that.
Especially at such a young age.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're still in college. So are you a sophomore or a junior?
Junior.
You're a junior.
Yeah.
Got it. That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd say about what you learned in that phase of your life?
I think I'd say that, just stick to your ambitions. Like, I think that's the most important. Like, stay true to yourself is the biggest thing. Because, like, no matter what, like, don't lose your, like, inner values. Like, I've kept that educational value that my mom embedded into me. I've kept that, and that's what keeps driving me now in college. And
I love it.
even at work, I mean, my dad wasn't the nicest father sometimes or the most supportive, but he put a good work ethic into me.
Mm-hmm. And you knew he loved you.
And yeah, he loved me.
Yeah. In his way. Yes. Exactly. I get it. So you're still on this journey, and you have some big news. And I do want to ask you a couple more questions, but I want to share the exciting news. You just got a big internship.
Yeah, so I actually got an internship with Johns Hopkins and NASA for the summer.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love that.
It was, I'm really happy about it. I was kind of hoping I would get
honestly,
it.
we're all rooting for you here. Like, we're all rooting for you. And I'm so excited. And I could hear how excited you were about it.
Yeah, when I got the news, I honestly couldn't even, I thought I was dreaming.
I love it.
Because, it's all I wanted. I wanted a summer internship. And I'm able to stay on campus too without working for the school full time.
How are you going to get to the internship though?
It's in Johns Hopkins campus.
Oh, you can walk there.
Just walk there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very close.
So you're excited.
Yeah. And I still get to live on campus.
What are you going to do in this internship? Why did you want this particular internship?
Well, other than it being NASA.
Okay, well, that is cool. Kind of a nice thing to put on your resume.
Right? Other than that, honestly, I've always just had an interest in exploring new things, and space I literally don't know anything about it.
Wow.
A lot of people have asked me, like, you know, do you like astronomy? Do you like, what got you into the NASA interest? Like, honestly, I did a program with them in January. It was a week-long program, and it was called Astro Scholars. I'm repping the merch.
I saw that. I did notice that.
It's called Astro Scholars.
I love it. I love that you came with that shirt on. It's
I
awesome.
love the color of it.
It's really cool.
So
I'm super proud of you for that. I mean, that's a really big deal.
Yeah, thank you.
My one of my brothers worked at NASA and loved it.
Yeah, I
It's
love
really
the
cool.
people there from just the week-long program. They were so supportive.
Actually, I think he was with a contractor, but he did work with NASA and
Indirectly.
like it's really. I just think that's just really cool work to do. Does it match up with your major? Is that why you wanted to go in this direction?
Yeah, it's not as like, you know, not as like A to B as a lot of other majors like astronomy would be for NASA, but like I was able to implement a lot of my coding, like statistical coding knowledge in the project that we did.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I think you need a variety of experiences.
Yeah,
At
you do.
at this point in your life, while you're still on this journey, like you don't want it to be linear.
Yeah.
You want to try a lot of different things and ultimately make a decision about what works best for you.
I consider them side quests.
I think
like,
your future is bright, Jason. I really do.
I hope so. With all the work I put in, I think it will be too.
Yeah, I think it will. I do want to ask you one more personal question. After everything that you've been through and the extraordinary things that have happened in your life, like, I mean, really, if you were to check boxes on trauma and dysfunction and challenges, you check a lot of those boxes.
Yeah.
And so much of it goes back to your family of origin. Do you think about having a family of your own?
So I'm actually very conflicted on that. Part of me has always wanted one, so I can be what I didn't have for someone else. Like I want to start a new generation. Like I've always, like a couple years ago, I said I wanted to change my last name because there was too much bad along with it. But honestly, I think I just need to reshape the meaning behind my last name, like the legacy behind it. And in order to do that, I do kind of want a family. I want to be that supportive, you know, father. I want to have that stable,
Love it.
4-person household. Like I love the nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always, but also I'm conflicted because, you know, I know how hard it is, how life can be, and I don't want to chance putting someone else into that. But you know, it's a part of the risk of living.
Well, I will tell you this, and this is what was shared with me after my journey of, you know, trauma and a dysfunctional family is you attract the level of dysfunction. And that really hit me hard because if you don't get to the point where you process it and understand it and you stay in it, then you're attracting that level of dysfunction. But if you learn to love yourself and you believe you deserve to be happy and you ask for help when you need it, what you're doing is you're bringing yourself up to a higher level of functioning, which will attract someone who also is at a higher level of functioning.
And that's the goal.
Now, I am not an expert, but I like that theory and I'm sticking with it. So, I mean, I didn't want to have a family myself for a long time because I was like, I don't want to repeat what my parents did. Like, I don't want that life.
Now your son's producing this.
Right, exactly. My son is one of the producers, absolutely. He's told me that he's the executive producer. He actually built the whole studio and everything, so I couldn't have done it without him. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to change my legacy, too. Yeah. I wanted to change the legacy in my family. And I think to a certain extent I have, but I still sometimes feel pulled back to that history. It's hard to get away from it.
You never truly escape it.
Right.
It's a part of you.
That's right. Well, I think if you choose to be a parent, you're going to be a great dad someday.
I hope so.
Not anytime soon, Jason.
Not
anytime soon.
I hope so.
That's funny. So I think, what would you say is the lesson in this as you think about the future? What's the lesson at this point? It is that you can create your own family because we spent so much time talking about the importance of family and the role that they play. You can create your own legacy.
So another cliche, but you know, I love cliches.
That's all right. I don't know if they're cliches in your case because like you've lived it.
Yeah, that's true. But one of my childhood heroes, John Cena, he's a WWE superstar and like actor.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
Yeah, just I didn't think you know who he was.
Love it.
He's a little bit less known than Stuart Little. So
Okay. Fair enough.
but I mean, I watched him wrestle when he was growing up, and his motto was never give up. And I mean, every time he came out, that's all I was faced with. It's, you know, he would give the most inspirational talks to the audiences, you know, even though it's all like storytelling and fake, but it wasn't the stuff. Yeah, wrestling's not like real.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that for me.
But you know, the stuff he was saying was real. And I mean,
Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
And he wasn't like a person that like didn't act on what he said. He has actually the most Make-A-Wishes of any celebrity.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
He holds the record for most Make-A-Wishes.
For the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Wow. That's amazing. So your mantra is never give up.
Never give up.
So what do you do when you feel like you want to?
Ask for help.
There you go.
That's what you have. I mean, if you can't solve it within yourself, then, you know, sometimes you do need help from others.
Well, I believe in you. I completely, 100% believe in you. You are one of the strongest people I've ever met. I've met a lot of amazing people. And at 21, you just turned 21. Which day is your birthday?
February 12th.
Mine is the 3rd.
Really?
We're Aquarians.
Aquarius.
At your age, to have faced what you faced and to have gotten through it, to have made it out, to go forward after each of the setbacks and obstacles you've encountered is extraordinary. And to be vulnerable enough to say, I need help. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a level of awareness, maturity, presence that you just don't see in someone your age. So you are going to change people's lives. Your story is extraordinary. And I am super proud of you for everything you've done. And I'm mostly proud of you for the awesome human being that you are today.
Thank you.
And I'm so thrilled to have you here with us. And
I'm happy to be here.
It's just wonderful to have you on the show. Now, everyone who comes on the show, first of all, thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
Put that hand across the table, my friend.
My hand's a little
there
sweaty.
There you go. It's all right. I know it's a little scary. But we're casual here. We're friendly. This is a friendly crowd. So everyone who comes onto the show signs my guest book. I've had this guest book for more years than I'm comfortable saying out loud because then I'm giving away my age. But let's just say it's been a lot of years. Okay, I'll say it. It's 25 years I've had this guest book.
25 years.
Everyone who comes on the show now signs it. So you can sign your name or you can write a note. But it's my honor to have you join my group of friends and family and professionals. So I'm thrilled to have you on the show. Thank you.
Well, I think I'll do pink.
Do you want pink? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, you go
the theme
for
of
it.
love.
I love it. It's all good.
We're going to go with the never give up.
I love that.
Everyone else wrote in cursive, but I didn't learn cursive.
What?
What? No, my generation didn't learn cursive.
I don't understand that. Someone's going to have to explain that to me.
It's just a difference in generation. Never give up.
Love it. Never give up. And the lessons we came out of this with are all around family and network and support and redefining what that network looks like. It's not just your parents, your biological parents. It's your adoptive parents. It's your teachers. It's your community. It's people who believe in you. And sometimes it's the people we ask for help.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.